What's going on, guys? Today I've got another project going. I'm not working on the Mustang, there it is right there, and I'm not working on the 53. I am working on the 1976 Pontiac Ventura. It is a 4-door. It had a 260 V8 in it with a whopping 110 horsepower. I just pulled that engine out and I'm about to put in, y'all don't hate me, it's a 5-liter, I don't know, 165 to 180 horsepower or something, I don't know. But the engine runs good and I'm putting it in that car. I did have to order a adapter plate to adapt the Chevrolet engine to the Buick. It'll be fine, right? So I had to get this adapter plate to adapt the Buick Olds Pontiac transmission to the small block Chevy. Y'all are gonna see the installation. First things first, let me get this engine up on this hook, and I'm gonna strip this engine down, clean it up a little bit, and install the adapter plate, then a flywheel. So I have the engine stripped down. All I have to do is attach the motor mounts, pick it up, and set it in the car for fitting. Get her lifted up. Here it is, guys. Motor's setting in there. And I know y'all are gonna say something about the engine being so dirty. I didn't want to waste a lot of time on this engine if it didn't run good. So once I get it running and see how well it does, I'll pressure wash it. I might even throw some paint to it. The starters on the Pontiac and Chevy are in different locations, so I'm having to run new wiring. Same thing with the alternator. The alternator's swapped sides. Everything's like backwards. So I'm running some new wiring, as you can see. I plan on going up, forward, up to the intake with the hot wire coming from the starter, and same thing with the exciter wire. But we have the engine mated to the transmission. Torque converter's bolted up. I did have to put some spacers in between the torque converter and flywheel because of the spacer plate that to mate the Pontiac Olds Buick transmission to the small block Chevrolet. Overall, it's looking pretty good. It's going really well. pretty nasty. I guess I should have cleaned it before putting it in the car, but it'll be fine. So, I mean, it's not like I'm trying to make this thing A1 anyways. This is just get her running and get rid of the car, because I've just got too much stuff. I got too much stuff, as y'all can see, and one less car in the garage would be nice. So, let's get cracking on this. Yeah, I don't like my wiring very much. This exhaust is keeping me from putting the wiring where I wanted it. I wanted to run it around behind the engine, but this passenger side manifold is right in the way, so I have to run this wiring from the front, and it's pretty ugly. The best connectors to use would be like solder connectors. I do not have any solder connectors here. So it's another day working on the Pontiac. Today I am welding in the motor mounts, spot welding them, and hooking up, I don't know, maybe a carburetor, and maybe getting the timing right. So let's do it. Where's a good spot on the chassis? Here's a good spot. I didn't get a welding helmet. I'll just close my eyes. Alrighty. Go. Go out, fire. Go out, fire. That should keep it from moving for me. Let's try the other side. Now, the correct way of doing these motor mounts is drilling holes and bolting it up. But I found out on this cross member, you have to take the lower suspension off to get to the bolts. So I'm just going to spot weld it in 4 places and let the next guy deal with it. Or if it's me, I'll drill holes, cut the welds, and bolt it up. It'll be fine. Cover. They are some ugly, ugly welds. Now, don't get me wrong, this welder's doing a great job, but it's the flux wire, and I don't care what you do, the flux wire is just not going to look beautiful. You can make it look good after you clean it up real good, but it always seems to leave the little slag everywhere, and just it's just not pretty. But she's going to do the job for the time being, and I'm going to be happy with it. So I got the engine on top dead center. The way I do that is I remove the number 1 spark plug and I spin the engine over until the piston comes all the way up on the compression stroke. And you can tell it when you get someone to crank over the engine. You remove the spark plug, put your finger over the hole, and once it goes, that's top dead center. You gotta bump the starter until it comes up, and then you finish turning it until the piston's all the way up. Then you go to the rotor button, you see where it's pointing at, and that's where number 1 cylinder is going to be at. That's where you need to put the number 1 spark plug wire, and the distributor rotates clockwise, so you need to run the wires 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. So to speed things along, I went ahead and did a lot of work with the camera off. I installed the alternator, kind of. I need to find a longer bolt for that. The water pump, the lower radiator hose, the fuel pump. Next thing is the carburetor and spark plug wires. So I'll keep the camera rolling for that. Wow, didn't spill a drop. I don't have any water here at the shop, so I'm gonna have to borrow some from my neighbor. So I had a little bit of a mishap with the coolant. I had a bit of a leak. That was because the coolant temperature sensor on the side of the head was out, and I didn't know about it, but I got her topped up now, and I'm going to hook up the battery and I'm going to start cranking her over. Hopefully I got the timing right. I just eyeballed it. Let's see what happens. Let me give it some gas. Sounding a little on the retarded side. Let's turn it up a little bit. Look at that. Might not be getting fuel yet. I did put a used fuel pump on it. I hope that doesn't come back and bite me in the butt. Here we go again. Guys, looks like I'm gonna have to get a fuel pump. Alright, so I guess that's it for this video, guys. I'm gonna clean up here in the shop, and I'll give you a sneak peek of another car I picked up. It's not gonna be anything I work on anytime soon, because the Mustang is next. Once I get this thing wrapped up where it can be driven around, the Mustang is next. So, I reckon I'll catch you guys later.